Probably wondering why I look different in every single video. I don't even wear glasses. These are purely an accessory for my head. Anyway, hello. Every few months I think maybe I should be a YouTuber again. You know, I've reached a point in my life where I know absolutely nobody is watching these, so I can just do whatever I want. Post every few months, look different. Nobody's here for consistency. Nobody. Today I want to talk about journaling. I am one of those people now who journals every morning. My life has changed 108. I want to talk about journaling because I love it. If I'm looking above the camera, it's because I'm looking at myself. And can you blame me?
Thanks.
I use the terms journaling and free writing interchangeably. I think language is really important, and personally, the word free writing gives it more of a visual in that I am free and without rules, and I can write whatever the hell I want, no matter how boring and no matter how scary. It is really helpful for me to have a specific time in the day set aside for journaling. That's not to say I'm so rigid that at a certain time I am by my paper and pen journaling. More as a guide for myself to not use journaling as a crutch, but more of a consistent practice. Before I started journaling really regularly, I would only journal when I felt like bad and I needed help immediately. And I saw journaling as something that could give me some kind of immediate relief. But what I've learned now is that sometimes it is more helpful to say, this isn't the time for journaling, so I'm just gonna feel my feelings right now, and then I can talk about it later. By using journaling as a crutch and only journaling when something terrible was happening, that was kind of telling my subconscious that my feelings were something I needed to fix. Setting aside a specific time for journaling not only makes it easier to form as a habit, but it kind of helps you compartmentalize as well and realize that your emotions are something you can sit through and then you can reflect. For a few months during lockdown, I was journaling every morning and every night. And so sometimes in the middle of the day, I would just feel terrible and I would feel like journaling would help me a lot right now. I wouldn't touch my journal, sit there with myself, with my feelings, and just let it be. And then I could journal at the end of the day and say, hey, you know, that wasn't as bad as I thought. In the times that I feel like I have absolutely nothing to say, all the more I should write. It's in those times that my subconscious is probably processing something that I wasn't even completely aware that I was processing. When I feel like I have nothing to say, I write exactly that. I just write, doesn't feel like I have anything to say, and somehow, magically, my brain will find something. This next one is probably the most important one to me. If something feels too scary to write, that is a huge sign to me that I should write it. We don't realize how we really, really build things up in our heads. And once we write it, we have all the power in our free writing book to just explore that thing and why it scares us. And when you are able to do that, when you're able to finally write out that thing that really, really scares you, that is extremely powerful. And it's with those that the epiphanies come. The last thing that I want to say, it has been one of the most helpful things to me personally. It is to make space for celebration. Life is beautiful and not to be the completely authentically hippie self that I am. There are things to celebrate. I know that sometimes it might feel completely impossible to celebrate things. It takes practice. I think it is so important to just acknowledge the fact that a lot of good can coexist with all that feels wrong in the world. The weather is really nice today. I had a good meal today. These are things that we can celebrate, and they might not make you feel better immediately, but like I said, we shouldn't be in a rush to fix our feelings. Make space for celebration. There is always space for celebration. The celebrations aren't there to necessarily fix everything that makes us feel terrible, but that's not what they're there for. So, be patient with yourself. It takes a while, and especially to do this regularly, it does take time that we might not always have. It takes energy that we might not always have. Let it be an organic process. You don't have to start doing it regularly today. Take your time. We're all on a different path. These are little things that I've found help me be a bit more patient with myself, and I hope they also help you. I don't know when I'll make a video next. I might come back bald. Who's to say? I've recently become a very involved plant parent. I don't like to do the self-promo thing, so I'll just do it this once and then I'll never speak of it again. You can follow me on Instagram, aeriqah. It's just a fancy way to spell Erica. Thank you. See you next time. Bye bye.